Advisories, number 405.
Okay, this evening we have quite a few policy advisories from Arizona School Boards Association, and most of them are a result of legislation that happened in the last legislative session. I'm going to cover two policies, and then Dr. Wagner and Scott Wallman and Dr. Lugo and Ed Stoltz are going to cover other policies. So the first policy advisory is BK School Board membership. And as a result of House Bill 2002, new language was established in Arizona Revised Statutes 15511 that prohibits a school district from spending monies for membership in an association that attempts to influence the outcome of an election. And corresponding language has been added to that policy. And the recommendation is that districts should evaluate their local, state, and national memberships to determine if the association with each organization is compliant with statute. So that is the first policy advisory. The policy advisory number 406, which is CBA, qualifications and duties of the superintendent. Senate Bill 1141 added language to Arizona Revised Statute 15802, and it directs school districts and charter schools to require and maintain verifiable documentation of residency in Arizona for pupils who enroll in the school district or charter school. And policy document model, CBA, qualifications and duties of the superintendent, has been revised to reflect that new requirement.
How do you verify residency? Is it just like a phone bill, electric bill?
And it's residency within the
School district.
Madam President, members of the board, good evening. DVC/R, budget planning, preparation, and schedules. It is required that we maintain a financial calendar for the year. This regulation lays out what all is supposed to be included in that, and it specifically follows things that are already required of us, such as when budget hearing schedules get posted in advance, when the budget's uploaded to the state, et cetera, things we've been doing for many years, but it ties all that into this prepared calendar. All the way through to the annual financial report, and that being posted on the website, and dates for all of those things, all those things that you speak about at those 2 or 3 board meetings, where we lay all that out. And that's supposed to be delivered to the superintendent. DBF also merely aligns with statute. These are things that we've been doing for a long time. The budget hearing that we do every year is required to be posted 10 days in advance, and lays out when it's to be uploaded to the ADE as well, and the manner in which we are either to publish and the reason for the change, now we can post a link to our website where anybody can just go on and see our budget. It's actually displayed on ADE's website, but we have a link on ours that leads them there, and they can punch in the district they want to see and look at anybody's budget they want. The annual financial report works the same way. DIC specifically does the same thing with the AFR. Just I said that it's in different policy. If you look at our website, under departments, business services, right there is a link that says view the district annual financial report. You click that, it goes to ADE, and there you see our whole report. DJE lands some details from that, all the changes that came about in the last 6 months or so with procurement, specifically for job order contracting, is limited to a 5-year contract, but it also says that the board can deem that a longer contract is advantageous to the district. So for example, we can do a bid for roofing services, and that can be we can have a roofer for 5 years if we lay that out in the bid and choose to do it that way.
Scott,
Yes.
is this aligned with ours and aligned with all the state requirements? So it's just, we already do this?
Yeah, the laws and these rules were approved some number of months ago. The policies are now catching up.
Oh, okay, thank you.
DJER repeats that. Salary deductions you've covered, right? That one's, no. Originally, there was a law passed forbidding payroll deductions that end up going to political purposes. That's currently in limbo because it's been challenged, and so we'll be back with that one at some point, I assume. Disposition of school properties allows us to lease our properties to another governmental subdivision. And it says here, so long as that lease won't affect the normal operation of any school within the district. One here that's helpful on the next page, donation of surplus. You know, when we finally get around to disposing of stuff, it's typically so outdated and unsafe and useless that no one would buy it, and it's hard for us to dispose of that in a, well, I want to say, a way that looks like we're getting everything out of it we can. This policy allows us to donate stuff to another nonprofit. It also allows us to sell our outdated and useless materials to pupils currently enrolled in the district, so long as the price is posted and is commensurate with the value. So that gives us another couple of ways to move out obsolete materials. I have FCB as well. That's not, let's skip past. Closing a school facility, this policy requires that we discuss it at a board meeting. JEB entrance requirements. If we accept a child into kindergarten who is younger than is typical, the state's concerned about funding that child for 2 years. So we can only fund them for, we only get funding for that child for 1 year. We can charge tuition for year 2 if we so choose. And there's also a clause in here that should a child come in and do half a year and stop, we can get funding for the other half of that year the next year. So it's one child, 1 year of kindergarten is the bottom line. Residency verification is also required in here, that we verify that the child's a resident, or the parents are a resident of the state of Arizona. And lastly, JQ, tax credit contributions. A good percentage of those tax credit contributions come in with a designated purpose, meaning they're directed to band programs, fine arts, etc. By this regulation, should that program be discontinued or should that money not be used for 2 years, those funds are moved back into the general category where they can be reallocated by the group. Oh, what's the name of that group? The parent group who advises the principal on how those funds are to be used. School Site Council. Questions?
Madam President, Governing Board, the two items I'm going to cover is Policy Advisory Number 413, EHB Data Records Retention, and the second one would be JR Student Records. Under the Data Records Retention, the Senate bill finally added the electronic copy of records for students. So they're now finally giving guidance on the fact that electronic records have been kept for quite some time. And they're really aligning basically what we did with the former paper records with the same retention records for electronics. And the new name of what used to be Arizona, the State Libraries Association, is now the Arizona State Library Archives and Public Records, which is actually coming out with specific directives on where we can store it. Needs to be centrally located, which we've been doing that for quite a few years. So they're finally tying the electronic and paper together. And on the student records, JR, or Policy Advisory Number 430, for many years now, pupil directory information has been given out, especially in the high school area, to military recruiters, different businesses that were wanted to do scholarships, things like that for kids in sports and so forth. They've actually aligned it now to where that data has to be provided by October 1st of the year, and that the Department of Education has to come up with a waiver form, which they have not come out with yet, as to deny pupil information now. In the 8 years I've been here, we've not given out pupil directory information. And it does, the policy does start with if the district determines to give away pupil directory information, you follow this policy. We've, as far as I know, in the 8 years I've been here, have not given out pupil information.